right, looks like it's about time to get started. Hello, everybody. How's your hump day going so far? Just checking. This is weird. Is this working on? Is this thing on? I think it is. Let's see. Turn that down. Okay, I guess it is working. Hi, good morning. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Gosh, more Israel stuff today. Imagine that. But I have some other things to talk about, particularly this dummy over here, because it's just funny what she did. And I'll tell you about it during the show, and then we'll laugh at her during the show. And because she's not real bright. And I thought maybe she had brain cells enough to say, you know, whether or not she could read the news, because she used to be a news broadcaster, and I guess isn't she a former Miss America or something like that? But anyway, she's not bright, and it's just funny, and so I have to show you. But that's not all. There's other things I hope kind of people are talking about, and we'll do that right after the intro. Johnny, turn that off and play the intro, please. Wait, what happened there?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
I think it's because I always forget to turn my headphones up. Hello, everybody. Oh, let's try it again. Now there's my face. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel as I arrange my coffee cups and water around here. Whoops, that was a monster. No, not left over from yesterday, though. Halloween and stuff. Anyway, welcome to the show. Got a lot on the list. I'm not going to go through it all. But I have lots of extra articles on the the conflict over in the Middle East, which I'm not going to go through all of them today because there's just so many. But a great source for that is my aggregator, the Ace of Spades blog, JJ Sefton, who puts out the morning report. I get a lot of my stuff from there because he's on Johnny on the Spot. So anyway, I am going to say hello and then let's get into it because there's a lot to do. So first in the chat. Oh, what? Wait, what's okay? Okay, I see. I'm like, something's amiss here today. This is weird. Anyway, first in the chat over on Rumble is Mr. Mike Savage, blarg, who gets the bell. What's going on with this? Could you even hear that? What the hell's going on? Did something reset? Yeah, that reset too. Let's try that again. Hey, there it is. Also, good morning to our friend Advocatus Diabli, Jimmy Das Hotep. Oh, I'm sorry. Advocatus Diabli, Jimmy Das Hotep, and Cannibalistic Wizard, who gets the I just figured out what to do with that honk honk. And Next Gen Troll. Nice to have you over on Rumble. Good morning to people on YouTube. First the chat, and I am so happy to say this for once, Mr. Kara Soldier gets the bell. Yeah. Well done. Also, good morning to Maddie, Mike Savage, blarg, Chicago Mike's in the house, at least for the rest of the week. Good morning also, GD. Oh, what's that? GDSOB. My ring alarm went off. It was something else. GDSOB. I said that 3 times. Click your heels and you end up in Kansas. Good morning, Renee Mayette. Hello to the Batman. Afternoon Q Cat Samurai. I don't know who that is, but anyway. Also, good morning, Simon Wolfwood. Mark Stewart's in the. Oh, Mark Smart. I almost said Mark Stewart. Where did I come up with that? Fake news expert Jimmy Das Hotep's in the house on YouTube. Also, good morning to the Grand Inquisitor, Mr. Tyre Alexander. We've missed you here a couple days, buddy. Nice to have you back. Also, good morning to Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. Good morning, Attack Alpaca. Lord Stanhope, tall person's here. Who else? Am I missing anybody? Oh, Green Badger Outdoors. Nice to have you here live. Who is often Green Badger Outdoors does the bookmark for when the show actually starts because I'm too lazy to cut out the big long intro thing. And so there you go. Honk 'em until they cry. Honk 'em some more. Okay, yes. Good Lord, not Kansas, Marty. Well, isn't that what happens when you click your heels 3 times? You go back to Kansas. Oh, no. I got that wrong. You don't go to Kansas. You just go home. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. That's the home song from The Wiz. This is what Diana Ross sang when she was thinking of home. Because I can't remember. There's a click the Click Your Heels song in The Wizard of Oz. I don't think there is one anyway. All right, so let's get into the day because there's all kinds of things to go on to do. Oh, hang on a second. Let me make sure I did these. Just one moment, please. You know, it's really weird. It's not just weird, but it's a little frightening as I'm looking through the news about Israel and the people in the United States being activists and shit. How unbelievably pro-Hamas people are. The terrorist group. Not Palestinians necessarily. Palestinians too, but pro-Hamas. And it's really fucked up. And I'm swearing early in the show. You'll see it if I get to it. I'm not going to go through all of it, but it's just I think about how the Nazi regime, and I don't want to go Godwin on you here, but how the Nazi regime spoke of Jewish people and how some of these people supporting Hamas talk about Jewish people because they say Israel, but it's the Jewish people, and that's Hamas. That's Hamas's charter, right? It has nothing to do with Israel. It has to do with the Jewish people. They want to eliminate the Jewish people, and it's so just weird watching Americans and other, the leftists around the world who normally would be screaming at you about anti-Semitism are just totally so. Just it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's just frightening. Just the way it's going right now, and I guess I don't care, what your thoughts are on certain people, but holy shit. But anyway, let's talk about what people are talking about first, because there's a few things trending on social media right now. And so yesterday was Halloween, right? And I was surprised, we had about 50 trick-or-treaters come through. I always buy full-size candy bars and whatnot, and I have a whole ton of them. And I let kids take as many as they want. And what's interesting is most kids will still only take 1 or 2 unless I encourage them to take a couple more. And I knew that I was going to have extra this year. I bought a ton. And so I'm like, go ahead and take 3, take 3. One kid would take 4, but I don't think any kid took more than 4. Most kids took 2 or 3 when I egged them on, which was nice. I mean, it's funny how respectful kids are, but they're also excited because I'm one of the houses that gives out full-size candy bars. I had Reese's cups and, the 2-pack of Reese's cups. I had full-size Hershey bars, full-size Kit Kats, the whole thing. But yeah, I was surprised we had 50 because usually average probably I get is 70 to 80 because we have a lot of kids in our neighborhood and a neighborhood full of kids. And so, but it was cold. It was 30 degrees last night. And, there's snow on the ground, although it's not it had all melted off the streets and sidewalks. They weren't running through snow, but it was just cold. And I knew it was going to be less than normal. But yeah, it was. Wait, what did you say? Did you say egg the kids? No, I didn't like throw eggs at them. That would have been funny though. But then it's trick or treat, and I didn't want any eggs on my house, so I was very kind and gave out big old candy bars. But but the fact that Halloween was yesterday, normally you think, oh, what's the next holiday? And the next holiday in theory is Thanksgiving, right? Well, trending number 1 on Twitter today, it was not Thanksgiving. Trending number 1 is Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. Have a merry, merry, merry Christmas. I don't know what's going on here. Christmas is trending number 1 on Twitter right now. Hello, Annalyn. Oh, it is Rabbit Day. Excuse me, Rabbit Day. I forgot to tell you it's Rabbit Day. It's the first of the month. It's also the greatest son-in-law on the planet's birthday today. If Jeffs happens to pop into the chat today, say happy birthday to Jess. Christmas is trending number 1. Now, I'm not sure. Unhinged Maniac already listening to Christmas music. Yes. So I laughed about this the other day because there was I put in my I don't think I did the video. On Instagram I posted this thing. Let's see if I have that. I'll show it to you. I'm not prepared today. Did I do the Christmas one? I'm not sure. Hang on a second. Oh, well, what the hell is this? What is this crap? Damn it. Where someone's in the Halloween costume and they are running, and then the second Halloween is over, they're already on Christmas. And so, geez, come on. What the hell's going on here? And no, I didn't post it. Anyway, it was a funny little video. But yeah, Christmas is trending. And so New York has a chance to that's never mind. Because all the stores like the Walmart and Target down the street already have all their Christmas shit out. Like today, they're already, it's like it used to be, after Thanksgiving, everything's whatever. But no, they all got the Christmas stuff out. So that is funny though. This maniac already listening to Christmas music because, people forget. Let me see. Make sure I'm not. Anglet saying they fell in love with each other on the talk show again. Merry Christmas for everyone. That's what's her face. But yeah, people. I mean, all I want for Christmas. Everyone's talking about Christmas. It's not even Thanksgiving yet. Can we get to Thanksgiving first? So now, that's cool. Oh, damn. What is that? Okay, that's kind of cool. Anyway, so I just thought that was wild that people are already talking about Christmas. But also Thanksgiving is trending. Now, let's move to Thanksgiving. Where is the Thanksgiving one? Here it is. Thanksgiving is trending. Oh, and the same... Oh, that's in Dubai. Okay, they do these cool, wild displays in Dubai. So this is Halloween drone... Oh, it's a drone light show in Dubai, forming a giant moving skeleton next to a building, and then they have Christmas there. But Thanksgiving is trending. In honor of Thanksgiving trending, remember that time when Biden pardoned the turkey last year? No. Well, let's see what this says. This has something to do about Trump for whatever reason. Let's see what this is. Here's the traditional pardoning of the turkey from last year. This is
you a full and complete pardon.
Okay, that's
Chocolate, you are pardoned. You are pardoned. So you had to tell me that?
Is this the one where the bird attacked him?
Yeah, I'm serious.
I hereby.
Okay, I don't know why that's. I don't know why they care about that.
Complete pardon.
Okay, shut up. That's enough. Now, Okay, what is this? Oh, I'm so glad I changed. Oh my God. It doesn't take long. Thank God before I scrolled, I took it off the screen. Again, boobs and butts. Don't want to show boobs and butts. But anyway, people are gearing up for Thanksgiving, and which is one of my favorite holidays because I cook a giant meal for about 15 people every year. And so this show's just going to hell. Oh my God. I'm glad I'm not showing you this. Oh my goodness. She's a fine individual, but she needs to put some damn clothes on. Anyway, all right, so let's get to the point. Because this is the month of Thanksgiving, okay, of course, they've decided to make November Native American Heritage Month, okay? Because, you can't be allowed to have a holiday that celebrates being thankful for some shit. You have to make sure that there's Native American Heritage Month to supplement that. And in fact, I know that they also have done this with Columbus Day, where they say, "Oh, it's Indigenous Peoples Day." Well, I think they do that on Thanksgiving too, or call it Thanksgiving. Some people don't celebrate Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is about genocide. Because you can't be thankful about something that you celebrated with some people or not. And so anyway, NASCAR has decided to tell us is proud to recognize Native American Heritage Month and celebrate the past, present, and future of indigenous peoples and communities. Well, thank you, NASCAR. Who's running NASCAR these days? I'm thinking maybe that some millennials have gone into the job market and are working at NASCAR. And here it is. Today marks the start of Native American Heritage Month. Let's honor contributions of the Native Americans who make our country so great. Cherokee Nation is a nation of history. Happy Native American Heritage Month. Here is Indian Affairs. Is this the United States Department of Indian Affairs? Oh, they're bold. Today and every day is a great day to be indigenous. Well, you know what? I hate to break this to you, Indian Affairs. I'm indigenous. I'm indigenous to this land because I was born here. Now, I'm not knocking Native Americans, by the way. Let me not be confused with someone just doing that. But it's just fascinating to me. FBI Washington Field Office, Native American Heritage Month. Democrats Abroad, Native American Heritage Month. Southern Poverty Law Center. Oh, let's see what the Southern Poverty Law Center says. Native American Heritage Month is an opportunity to learn and celebrate the traditions, culture, and history of indigenous people. We uplift and celebrate the remarkable diversity of indigenous communities and take the time to teach truth about their histories and contributions. Well, okay, I'm all for people being proud of their history and shit, but not all that history is beautiful. They fought some pretty nasty wars themselves, and sometimes involving eating each other's hearts and shit. But I am happy to. There it is, Senator Cortez Masto. Native American Heritage Month is about honoring the rich culture and historical heritage of tribal nations and the contributions they make every day. Well, what are those contributions? Other than maybe making some good woven goods and cool stuff that you can, and of course the casinos. But that's not. I shouldn't. Oh my God. I sound like a white racist, don't I? Anyway, it is Native American Heritage Month. Did I make the point that it's Native American Heritage Month? All right. Somebody drop a dime in the tip jar so I can change the subject. All right, let's move on. Also trending, Tulsi Gabbard is trending. I think it's because of something she said about Israel. In fact, I have the video right here. Tulsi Gabbard puts here. I'll just let her use her own words because she's having a little trouble with the squad and their anti-Israel stuff going on. Right? Oh, cheap cigarettes too. Yeah, if you go to the tribal lands, the res, you can get cheap cigarettes. Okay, here it is. Tulsi Gabbard, I think she's talking on Fox News, talking about Islamist jihadists.
I don't know if Kamala knows what she's up to, but the reality here is when you look at things like what Representative Cori Bush is saying, what the Squad is saying, what so many of these other people are saying who are accusing Israel of committing a genocide, it is the height
insanity.
of hypocrisy, because they're apologists and supporters of these Islamist Hamas terrorists who are calling for a genocide, the extermination of
Literally
all Jews,
calling
not
for
just in
genocide.
Israel,
Spot
but around
on.
the world. And we're seeing this being carried out by these violent mobs and threats and other things that are happening against Jewish people literally around the world. And the worst part is they're doing this under the guise of, well, we care about innocent people and we don't want people to get hurt, when in fact...
They're celebrating what Hamas did, though. On the same plane, they're celebrating what Hamas did.
They are, in essence, supporting and apologizing for the barbaric actions of Hamas against innocent women, children, and civilians.
I called it creating
Oh,
the
that's
monster,
Laura.
like they're Dr. Frankenstein. And now the monster in their progressive wing is turning against them. But they're trying to pretend like this is kind of a shocking development.
It's not shocking at
development.
all.
This has always been there.
It's
but it's
not
also deeply
shocking at all.
anti-American, is it not?
It is, and it is against the very foundational principles and values of who we are as a country. These Democrats, they have called people like me an Islamophobe for many years just for speaking the truth.
Wait, did they? I didn't know that she was ever called Islamophobe. I never really ever heard her views on terrorism, Islam, whatever, and or even radical Islam. I've never heard her talk about it at all, because my knowledge of Tulsi Gabbard before she kind of took this, I wouldn't say necessarily right term, but she focuses on basic principles and she's completely anti-war, but I always knew her as a Bernie bro. Okay. And so I always thought she had very left-wing politics. But anyway, interesting. I didn't know that anyone criticized her for speaking against radical Islam.
Truth about radical Islam, about the threat that this Islamism poses to the freedom and peace and security of the American people and people around the world.
Well, do you believe, as do some of these Republicans in the Senate, that we should be bringing in more Afghan refugees? We brought in, 80, 90,000? We didn't vet any of them. I'm sure some of them are great people and helped us in Afghanistan. But do we have 80,000 interpreters or drivers? I mean, I don't think so.
There are many, unquestionably. Yeah. But just like we're so concerned about Biden's open borders and the fact that we've got millions of
not
people
everybody
coming
is.
in who are not vetted in any way, shape, or form, who have
True.
not been checked.
But they don't share our values, to Nigel Farage's point as to what you're seeing in England.
Right.
This is, they say, you can't call it a clash of civilizations. Why not? It is a clash of civilizations. No women's rights.
Okay, I'm going to stop there because it's getting boring. But anyway, now interesting here. Might I tell you, people, someone's talking about Amy Klobuchar, my senator from Minnesota. Amy Klobuchar loves the Washington Post, which bent over backwards to peddle the absurd fiction she was a viable presidential candidate. Her threat, already voiced, is further regulating companies like Amazon. Someone says she's 100% more viable than Tulsi Gabbard, to which Matt Taibbi says, bullshit, despite every advantage, she was a total non-factor, one of many non-Bernie mannequins who took turns being hyped by the establishment media, only to be totally rejected by voters. See Beto, Pete, Kamala, etc. At least Bernie, Yang, and Tulsi has had self-generated followings. Okay, that's interesting. And then that's another 2-3 minute thing. She posts a lot of long video of herself. But anyway, at times beginning in 2015-16, I defended Tulsi Gabbard for taking, albeit selectively, anti-interventionist stand on Syria and other wars. I was wrong. Gabbard's a monster opportunist, a hypocrite? Oh my God, no. She is spot on everything she just said there. So anyway, she's trending because of this post that she made here. Moving on. Boy, this show is not going well today to me. This tab is empty. What's there? Oh, no. Kevin Sorbo is trending. Now, if you're familiar with the actor Kevin Sorbo, why is this not Hello, work. There we go. Kevin Sorbo's trending. And, you know, what was the show he was he Hercules or something like that? Or what was the show he was on? What was the name? Yeah, Hercules. Yeah, Hercules. And that's really the only thing I know that he really did. I know he was in a couple not rom-coms. I think he was in a couple Hallmark, those Hallmark movies, whatever. But anyway, he posted something that has some people riled up. He says right here, if you are Jewish and keep voting for Democrats, you are an idiot. Oh, that goes for African Americans too. So he's got a lot of people pissed off. Liam Neeson, that's not Liam Neeson, but a funny handle. Kevin Sorbo thinks Jewish people should vote for the Tiki Torch frat Nazis in Charlottesville instead. No, that's actually not what he's saying at all, dipshit. What he's saying for is that Democrats don't have your back on this. He also mentioned, let's see, he has a new movie out, Miracle in East Texas. It's a family-oriented movie, clean, funny, and what movies used to be like. And he was saying the media praised cuties but criticizes Sound of Freedom. That should tell you everything you need to know. Yeah, pretty much. Also, he posted that, Michael B. Jordan is rumored to be Disney's frontrunner to play Hercules in the live-action remake of the classic animated film. The news follows an insider revealing that Disney was hoping to cast a non-white actor in the role. Well, I'm sure, because, the Greeks weren't really white. I don't know. And so let's see. Now, here's another one who's pissed off about that little thing he wrote, though. Aside from everyone in Hollywood, blacks and Jews think that you are a total joke and would no sooner drink bleach and take ivermectin suppositories than listen to you. Well, start drinking your bleach, motherfuckers, because I'm listening to him. I tend to agree with this statement. So anyway, that's why he's trending. All right, let's see. Now, let's get into a little more. This is not necessarily trending news, but it is things that, this is trending. I forgot. Diddy is trending. Diddy, as in P. Diddy, as in, what was he called before? Puff Daddy. P. Diddy. Diddy, and many iterations. Apparently, over the past couple Halloweens, P. Diddy dressed up as the Joker for Halloween. He did a couple years, I think he did a couple years in a row. And some people were kind of on the border of whether or not that was kind of the equivalent of wearing blackface but using whiteface. And people were upset with it for whatever reason. So this year, he decided that he was going to dress up as the Dark Knight. He came out as Batman this year. So Batman, P. Diddy doing some homage to you. There he is. P. Diddy is Batman. There you go.
The Joker when you got Batman in the building, dog. Who more famous than Batman?
Someone told him he couldn't dress up as the Joker anymore. So there you go. That is a homage to our friend in the chat. Very good. Very good. Thank you, the Batman. All right. What else was here? Let's see. Oh, Secret Service is trending. Mostly because, did I even show you that? Did I have it on the screen? Oh my God. Let's try that again. Here's P. Diddy. Puff, whatever, dressed up as Batman. There he goes. I'll play that again. There he goes. And he actually, now the thing about it, when P. Diddy does something like that, he goes all out. Okay, he goes all out. He's got look back behind him here. He's got the Batmobile back there. You see that? I mean, the Batmobile from the more recent movies. Look right behind him. You can see it. In fact, I'll show you. Let me go back in and scroll up here. He did this. Here it is.
That pain gonna make him grow.
Calling himself the Dark Knight. He took the time to go into a studio and put this out here. I don't know why it's so choppy like that. So this was P. Diddy's Halloween costume. And he made a little video. He made a little video to to celebrate his Batman stuff. All right, U.S. Secret Service is trending. I'm not sure why, except this is great because these kids right here, they nailed Joe Biden and his Secret Service detail. Let's play this real quick. There he is. Now that's some Halloween costumes right there. You got for the love of children. All right. Also, apparently, Christie threatens Trump, and so the Secret Service might have to get involved. I have no idea what that's about. And also then there's a stupid post by Ed Krasenstein. Trump reportedly knew that the January 6th crowd was armed and tried overpowering a Secret Service agent to go to the Capitol. Now, he puts that in quotes because he knows it's bullshit. He knows it never happened. Nobody, whatever. But whatever. And also, the Secret Service is trending because RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., is still not being allowed to have Secret Service protection, even though he's asked for it multiple times. I think he's going to court to try to get it because, he's a Kennedy. Kennedys get ended in public places. And so he's thinking, plus there's a lot of crazy Democrats who probably would go after him. But, so here it is for immediate release from Team Kennedy. Intruder arrested twice at RFK Jr.'s home in Los Angeles. On Wednesday, an intruder was arrested after climbing the fence at the residence of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Protectors from Gavin Becker and Associates detected and detained the intruder, who asked to see the candidate. The intruder was turned over to the LAPD after being released from police custody. The man immediately returned to Kennedy's residence and was arrested again. The candidate was home at the time of both arrests. GDBA had notified the Secret Service about this specific obsessed individual several times in recent months and shared alarming communications that he had been sent to the candidate. Over several months, the campaign submitted formal requests for Secret Service protection, yet U.S. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has refused to approve the protection. For every presidential administration for 55 years has afforded early protection to candidates who requested it. The Biden administration is the sole outlier. Well, they don't want him to run against what's his name? Robert, Bob, whatever. And so here is the third formal request sent to Mayorkas. He's still not getting Secret Service protection because Biden knows he's going to split his votes. And so he probably wants something to happen. That's not a good thing. But anyway, a lot of people talking about that. That's why the Secret Service is trending. And then finally, let's get to the main topic today because I want to get this right now before we go any farther. So that woman right there is Gretchen Carlson. We'll come back to her in a second. So apparently, over the last few days, Ben Shapiro has been talking about weaponry. Okay, weaponry, particularly the rhetoric around the desire for the Biden administration to ban AR-15s, the Armalite weapon that seems to be very scary to people. It's a black weapon. It's a very large black weapon, and it scares a lot of the white women. Anyway, this particular nice white woman. Now, y'all know I'm just being funny here, right? Because I don't give a shit what people are. But anyway, this particular white woman named Gretchen Carlson, former Fox News host, former Miss America, former Minnesotan news anchor and all that kind of stuff. Gretchen Carlson has something to say about Ben Shapiro talking about AR-15s, who was giving some numbers about, this silly idea of banning AR-15s is stupid. And Gretchen Carlson has something to say about that. So this is 50 seconds of just pure bliss and brainiac stuff. And you got to hear it just because it's so brilliant. It's amazing. Now, as we play this, though, I want you to listen very, very closely to what she has to say, because it's very important, because she's going to run some numbers by you, and I want to see if you catch what the problem is with her number. Should we full screen this? Let's full screen this. Let's just make her, let's put her just like this. All right, there we go. Gretchen Carlson. Okay, now, a note that she is blonde, so I will give her some leeway, but let's listen to Gretchen Carlson. We're going to listen to it at least twice because we're going to play it once full the way through, and then I want to see what you have to say about it, and then we're going to play it again and go through it point by point. So here's Gretchen Carlson talking about the pew-pews of the rifle variety that have the black stuff around them, and they look really scary because she's, whatever.
So you might have seen the news story about my tweet regarding Ben Shapiro.
No, I
and
didn't,
his
but
love
let's...
of AR-15s.
His love of AR-15s.
Big round of applause for the clever detectives who pointed out that technically a few ranchers and animal control people did own these guns before 2004. And since we're all big fans of math, here are more numbers.
Big fans of math.
In 1992, AR-15s composed roughly 21 in every 100 firearms made in the U.S.
Okay, 21 in 100.
In 2020, almost 1 in 5 guns made here were AR-15s.
Oh.
There are now more than 20 million AR-15s in people's closets and cabinets. Oh, and there's this. In 2023, there's been 560 mass shootings in our country,
now?
and we still have 2 months to go. This is not normal. A world where everyone has AR-15s is just a hell of a lot more dangerous than one where we don't.
Okay, now, I'm sorry because I was hemming and hawing over that, but I want you to, well, let's see if you caught any of that. Hello, bookworm. By the way, good morning, bookworm addict. And also good morning, Special K on Acid. Nice to have you here. All right. Not all mass shootings are AR-15s. That is true too. We'll get to that. But there was a point prior to that that I was hoping somebody would catch it. It was really fast. Let me play it. I'll play it again and I will shut the fuck up. Okay? And then we'll go through it again. So listen again carefully to what she says. Okay? It's very important.
So you might have seen the news story about my tweet regarding Ben Shapiro and his love of AR-15s. Big round of applause for the clever detectives who pointed out that technically a few ranchers and animal control people did own these guns before 2004. And since we're all big fans of math, here are more numbers that seem relevant. In 1992, AR-15s composed roughly 21 in every 100 firearms made in the U.S. By 2020, almost 1 in 5 guns made here were AR-15s. There are now more than 20 million AR-15s in people's closets and cabinets. Oh, and there's this. In 2023, there's been 560 mass shootings in our country, and we still have 2 months to go. This is not normal. A world where everyone has AR-15s is just a hell of a lot more dangerous than one where we don't.
Okay, now, I'm going to make this just a little smaller here, and we're going to have a chat about this, okay? Now, hello, Rodline, by the way. Good morning. And you're ridiculous lunatic. Good morning. All right, Gretchen, let's go through this, okay? And we'll go through it slowly. So she starts out with this.
So you might have seen the news story about my tweet regarding Ben Shapiro and his love of AR-15s.
Okay, right.
Big round of applause for the
Simon Wolfwood, you caught it! You caught it! I see you see it!
Pointed out that technically a few ranchers and animal control people did own these guns before 2004.
Okay, so that's stupid. First she starts with a few animal control people and ranchers had these before that. AR-15's been around for a long time, and ever since they came out, they became the most popular weapons platform in the United States. Okay, sorry, I hate to tell you that. It's not just a few ranchers. Okay, but Simon Wolfwood caught it.
And since we're all big fans of math.
Now she's big fans of math, she says. Big fans of math, okay? Now listen carefully.
Here are more numbers that seem relevant. In 1992, AR-15...
In 1992, AR-15s...
composed roughly 21 in every 100 firearms made in the U.S.
21 in every 100 firearms made in the U.S.
By 2020, almost 1 in 5 guns
by
made
2020, by 2020, almost 1 in 5 were AR-15. Now, Simon Wolfwood, 21 in 100 is more than 20%, which is 1 in 5. And today she says almost 1 in 5 today. So that ratio is lower now. What did she start this part with? Oh, since you're all such big fans of math, apparently Gretchen Carlson doesn't know what math is. Hello, Shrapnel. Perfect timing. Then she goes on to say,
there are now more than 20 million AR-15s in people's closets and cabinets.
20 million AR-15s in people's closets, cabinets, gun, whatever's locked up, not locked up, laying on the front lawn, laying next to the Corvette back in the garage. 20 million AR-15s.
Oh, and there's this. In 2023, there's been 560 mass shootings in our country.
560 mass shootings. Now, what amazes me, you would think if there were 20 million AR-15s lying around, that there would be a bloodbath in every city and every weekend of just people taking their AR-15s and the AR-15s taking themselves out of the gun cabinet and just rampaging and shooting people everywhere. You'd think there'd be thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of mass shootings every day with all those AR-15s. But what that tells me is that, oh, wait. First of all, even if every one of those 560 mass shootings were done with AR-15s, anyone going to do a percentage on that? That means that the overwhelming, incredible, undeniable majority of people who have AR-15s are responsible gun owners. Oh, Guns and Cafe, that's formerly Puerto Rico. You got your new handle. I like it. I love it. By the way, how'd your surgery go on your arm? I think you posted one that said it went well and whatnot. So anyway, so everyone say hi to Guns Cafe. That is Reaction Puerto Rico with the new handle. Also, good morning, Boom Her. So anyway, 20 million AR-15s, but there were 560 mass shootings this week. Now, someone pointed out earlier. Now, wait a minute. Let's talk about those 560 mass shootings, right? Is she implying that every single one of those 516 mass shootings with 20 million AR-15s in the country, is she implying that they were all done with AR-15s? Does she even know what the source of that particular statistic calls a mass shooting? Because we do know that, first of all, the overwhelming majority of those so-called mass shootings that the Gun Violence Archive tracks, almost none of them are some random shooter with an AR-15 going into a mall or a weird place and just shooting people up. Almost all of those are either gang violence, shootings during another crime, family violence. They're not random mass shootings that just some white guy came into a church and started shooting up people. Because that's the other insinuation they like to make. That's, it's these white guys, So anyway, and Guns Cafe, subscribe too, because you've got a new handle, new channel. Cool, awesome. So, and here's the other stat that Gretchen Carlson clearly does not know. More people are killed by hands and feet than any type of rifle. Almost all of those 560 mass shootings are committed with handguns. This hype and hyperbole, which is the same thing, over AR-15s is unwarranted. It's a rifle with some extra plastic and metal around it. It's basically, they make those weapons with the same, same capacity cartridges in wood too. The Ruger, there's a Ruger one that's wood that you use the same capacity cartridge, but it doesn't scare you because it isn't black and scary. Hi, Chris Kroll, by the way. And selected boys in the house. Why isn't that working? That's weird. Yeah, boy. It's amazing how she throws out statistics like she's making sense. That there's some idiots who probably think that she's just freaking brilliant. 21 and 100 versus 1 and 5 today. Wow. Let's do the math. Now, now many people caught this on the app formerly known as Twitter. And so many people responded to her, including myself. I said right here, 21 of every 100 versus 1 in 5, almost 1 in 5. So it's less now. Good to know. 20 million AR-15s in America, 560 mass shootings. How is it that there are not 20 million mass shootings? Wait, how many of those mass shootings involved an AR? Hint, more people have been killed by hands and feet than any type of rifle. An AR is a rifle. Also, you used to be in the news. How about you do a little research into the source of that 560 number? You'll find the vast majority of those mass shootings were not the type you were implying by spouting that number and were committed with handguns, because that is the truth. But other people, lots of people, pointed this out. For the clueless, that's you. 1 in 5 is 20 and 100. Cat turd. Can I speak to your manager? Yeah, she went all Karen. Only 20 million. Those are rookie numbers. We need to pump those up. That's funny. But yeah, everyone's. In fact, in Switzerland, Swiss gun laws require every citizen to be trained in firearms and receive government-issued sidearm and rifle, which they are required to carry outside of their homes. Switzerland has almost zero crime, even with all those banks. So, Black Hebrew Israelites in the house. What's up? Ronan Wolf's here.
That's right.
Good morning, Anna Lynn. Lots of people showing up at the end here. That's good. Okay. Oh my God. I live a half mile from the bowling alley in Lewiston, Maine. I was sitting in my kitchen in the dark with helicopters circling overhead for a mass shooter on the loose in my neighborhood. All I had was my 2 assault rifles and several 30-round magazines to protect myself. Yes, that's good for her. She shows a picture of her. Is that? Yeah, that's real. So anyway, it's just funny how many people just savaged her for that bit of stupidity. All right. So that was the main topic today. If you want to look at gun statistics, crimeresearch.org has this page here talking about updated information on mass public shootings and let's see, types of guns used in mass public shootings, percentage of mass public shootings in gun-free zones from 1950 to March 27, 2023. Now that's a statistic right there. This orange here, that's the percentage of mass public shootings in gun-free zones versus non-gun-free zones. Oh boy. Percentage of mass public shootings between 1998 and March 27. Okay, that's just in the last whatever X number of years. It's still 84%. Then they go into the race of public shooters, which basically it's the myth is that it's these right-wing white guys, right? No, it's about just mostly. It's funny because most mass shooters are left politically. Now, they finally got one in Maine that's right. And of course, Dylan Roof, how many years that was, and the one in Texas. But if you look at most of the mass shooters, they're usually anarchists, they're usually left-wing, they're usually Democrat, most crime is committed by Democrats. Violent crime is a Democrat thing. And then you look at the race of victims, it gives you all kinds of data here. So I'll have that link in the one tab link today that I use every day. I post all the links in the chat at the end of the show and also in the description after the show. Let's see, moving on. Now, let's move on to a little bit of Israel stuff because that's the biggest dominating story in the news. And actually today's Daily Krasenstein, the last one wasn't really a Daily Krasenstein, is another one of those times when he makes sense. I guess he's been really using Chat GPT or whatever to write stuff. But before I get to that, I almost forgot. I have to thank some people to thank real quick. Let's check the notifications here. People who shared the show today. Thank you, Tall Person. I'll retweet all these while I'm talking to you. Tall Person retweeted a couple times, retweeted me and also retweeted or tweeted out the show themselves. Somnambule Nation on the daily faithfully tweets out the show. I greatly appreciate that. And by the way, if you haven't done it yet, you can still do it because, people watch it after the fact. Also, thank you to Raven, Somnambule Nation, Maddie, Jimmy Das Hotep, and Tyler F. for retweeting my tweet of the show. I greatly appreciate it. It helps. It really does. We get a few new people, every month because of that. All right, let's go back to... let's see where it is here. The Daily Krasenstein is another one of those where he makes sense, but again, I'm sure he used some other source. But anyway, very people take the time to actually research the history of Israel, yet they are very quick to make claims such as, quote, the Jewish people stole the land, end quote. For these people, here's a history lesson and an attached video. In the late 19th and early 20th century, saw increased legal Jewish immigration to the region, referred to by many as Palestine, because it was a British land, which was then land that was part of the Ottoman Empire. This immigration was driven by various factors, including the desire for a Jewish homeland. Jewish people who immigrated legally obtained the land through various means, including via purchase, via donations from Jewish philanthropists, via land reclamation and uncultivated land. A lot of that land was just desert, it was just terrible land and nobody wanted to live on it. And so it's funny because the people who became Israel made it viable. Okay. Also through agricultural commodities known as kibbutzim, or through obtaining a public eon, which I don't know what that means, or obtaining public land. He just forgot the D. Many Jewish people already owned land within the Ottoman Empire when it collapsed. Now, during World War I in 1917, the British Empire and Allied forces captured Palestine from the Ottoman Empire in 1917. In 1917, the British government, who had captured the land, issued the Balfour Declaration that showed support for the creation of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. After World War I, the League of Nations granted Britain a mandate over Palestine. During this period, legal Jewish immigration to Palestine increased even more. In 1947, the UN Partition Plan, 1947, after tensions began rising between Arabs and Jews in the region, the United Nations proposed a plan to partition Palestine into separate Jewish and Arab states. The plan was accepted by Jewish leaders but rejected by Arab leaders. Again, their people already lived there, okay? They already owned land there, but they did not want a Jewish homeland within that little sliver of all around, surrounded by Arab nations. So in 1948, the Arab-Israeli War, the end of the British mandate for Palestine in 1948, marked the declaration of the State of Israel. The neighboring Arab states initiated a military conflict with Israel and got their asses handed to them, resulting in the displacement of many Palestinians from their homes. It was the Arab states, not Israel, that launched this war after the land was divided up. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War, known as the Nakba, led to the displacement and expulsion of hundreds of thousands of Palestinian Arabs from their land. Many became refugees and some sought refuge in neighboring Arab countries, and they were kicked out. The war's outcome, the including armistice agreements in 1949, resulted in new borders and territories. Israel controlled the larger portion of Palestine that had been proposed in the UN partition plan after they obtained much of this land in the war that was started by the Arabs. Over the years, the additional conflicts and wars, such as Six-Day War in 1967, led to further territorial changes and disputes between Israel and its neighbors. And there's a video he posted with this. So, the idea that this is Palestinian and they lived there for thousands of years. No, they haven't. There weren't such things as Palestine. And if you want to talk about indigenous peoples' days, they talk about who's probably the most indigenous people in that particular spot of land. 6,000-year history there. All right, so that's the Daily Krasenstein. All right, we're kind of close to done. So I want to. There was a few headlines I wanted to get to. Apparently, at Cornell University, a 21-year-old engineering student was arrested for making anti-Jewish death threats. A 21-year-old student was arrested Tuesday making horrendous anti-Jewish death threats at Cornell University that put the Ivy League campus on high alert over the weekend. Patrick Dye, a junior majoring in engineering and perhaps at the prestigious university, was named in a federal complaint charging him with posting threats to kill or injure another using interstate communications, which could land him in jail for up to 5 years. The Pittsburgh, New York native was formally charged just hours after New York State troopers identified a person of interest over the online threats, quote, to bring an assault rifle to campus, end quote. The disturbing messages came days after F Israel graffiti was scrawled on the sidewalks at the campus, were revealed to university officials on Sunday. So they arrested this shithead who probably was, he was probably taught that by his professors at Cornell University. In my great state of Minnesota, this jackhole, Minneapolis public school teacher, actually it's in Bloomington, Minnesota, called for the eradication of the Jewish state during an event commemorating past socialist revolutions, stating that she does not support a complete ceasefire in Israel because she only wants one side to stop fighting. I wonder which side that was. Meredith Abby Kierstead, a social studies teacher at Kennedy High School in suburban Minneapolis, spoke at an October 21st Freedom Road Socialist Organization panel, which aimed to contrast China's socialist policies to the imperialist agenda of the United States. During her speech, however, Abby Kierstead steered the conversation away from China, opting instead to praise the, quote, wins of Palestinian freedom fighters and advocate for terrorism against Israelis. Quote, this is what she said. When I hear people calling for a complete ceasefire, I think, no, that's not quite right, Abby Kierstead said, because we only want one side to stop fighting. The social studies teachers went on to chant from the river to the sea, which is advocating for the death of all the Israelis, basically. Palestine will be free, a rallying cry for Jewish state's destruction. So anyway, these are teaching your kids at school. Good for her. There's an article about the Einsatzgruppe D from in Ukraine. I don't know why I have that in there. And also, here's another one. Woman who was featured in Vogue magazine tells the Jews, "We will drink your blood and eat your skull." Oh, isn't she special? As it is now abundantly clear from the pro-Hamas rallies we've seen all over, the left loves jihadis, and the love is long-standing. Today's global crisis, however, is bringing a new clarity to what exactly the left has been supporting, and it isn't really diversity and inclusion, much less tolerance or peace. Vogue cover model Ahed Tamimi is a chilling case in point. Back in October 2018, Vogue Arabia, the Dubai-based Arab edition of the venerable fashion magazine, published a piece ostensibly written by Ahmed Tamimi, a Palestinian teenager who was 17 years old at the time. Occupied childhood. She pens a heartfelt letter about life in and after prison. The editor's note was worshipful in a heartfelt letter. A 17-year-old Palestinian activist, Ahed Tamimi, tells the story of her arrest and 8 months in an Israeli prison and the struggle she faces as a symbol of resistance. Well, apparently, one of the things she says is that we should drink the blood and eat your skulls of the Jewish people. And they, let's see. Okay, I missed the part there. Anyway, so anyway, she's that's her latest thing there. Moving on. I can't save that for the end. Let's drop Ace here. For updates on what's happening over in Israel, though, there's several articles. IDF hits Hamas targets, eliminates top terror commanders as ground operation widened, a little illegal insurrection. Breitbart. Apparently, the Iran-backed Houthis have declared war on Israel after reported killing of Saudi troops. Ansar Allah, the Yemeni Shiite jihadist terror organization known more commonly as the Houthis, took responsibility on Monday for a large number of ballistic and cruise missiles as well as drone attacks on the nation of Israel. The Iranian state outlet Mer News reported that the spokesman for the Houthis formally declared war on the nation of Israel in support of the Sunni genocidal terrorist organization Hamas. The Houthis are an Iran-backed terrorist organization that seized control of the capital of Yemen, Sana'a, in 2014 and ousted legitimate President Abu Rabo Mansour Hadi, triggering a civil war that remains ongoing, albeit in a ceasefire state at press time. The group's slogan is Allah Akbar, death to the United States, death to Israel, curse the Jews, victory for Islam. So that's a catchy little catchphrase there. Fuck them. Despite Ansar Allah's direct ties to the world's most prolific state sponsor of terrorism, Iran, and its stated goal of destroying America, the administration of leftist President Joe Biden removed the Houthis from the official U.S. government list of foreign terrorist organizations as one of his first acts in office in February 2021. How special is that? And apparently they have actually formally declared war on Israel. They also have been fighting with Saudi Arabia. That's kind of the deal in Yemen. And so now they're starting to fight Israel. Israel should just use air power. Anyway, apparently in Hamas also, they've found a manual on how to build chemical weapons, apparently. The Israeli Defense Forces said an eliminated Hamas terrorist was in possession of a manual containing instructions on how to construct what is being described as chemical weapons, according to the New York Post. The 7-page manual was found in the memory card of a GoPro camera recovered from the body of a terrorist who was killed at Kibbutz Be'eria on October 7th, the day Hamas launched an attack on Israel. Among the ingredients cited are potassium permanganate. I almost said pomegranate, but anyway, pure acetone, hydrogen peroxide, concentrated sulfuric acid. Anyway, the ingredients for a chemical weapon, basically. So that's heartening that they have recipes for chemical weapons. In PJ Media, Netanyahu succinctly explains things to the low-info ceasefire idiots. Let's just start here. Netanyahu rolled out a ceasefire with Hamas amid negotiations with the United Nations over a draft resolution calling for a pause in the conflict to allow civilian aid to be delivered to civilians in Gaza. Quote, calls for a ceasefire are calls for Israel to surrender to Hamas. To surrender to Hamas is terrorism. To surrender to terrorism and surrender to barbarism. That will not happen. That's a fairly succinct statement by Netanyahu. In the New York Post, White House says Biden would veto House GOP standalone Israel funding. See, the GOP, remember we were talking about how Biden wanted to do this emergency aid package, $101 million, to aid Israel and Ukraine and the border. And then he said of that $101 billion, $61 billion would go to Ukraine. Well, the House GOP wants a standalone bill to aid Israel, which I'm not for necessarily, unless Israel specifically asks for aid. Israel, again, one of the most capable militaries in the world, always has been, and by necessity always will be. So I'm not so interested in necessarily giving him aid. But when Joe Biden says, we're going to do $101 million in aid to Ukraine, Israel, and our border, when 60% of it's going to Ukraine and 15% is going to Israel and 14% is going to the border and the other's going to some other bullshit, I understand why the House would do a standalone Israel funding bill. The White House on Tuesday slammed a standalone Israeli funding bill proposed by House Republicans as, quote, bad for Israel and U.S. national security. Holy fuck. Asserting that President Biden would veto the legislation. This bill is bad for Israel, for the Middle East region, and for our own national security, the Office of Management and Budget said in a scathing statement of administrative policy on the so-called Israeli Security Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2024. The $14.3 billion bill, which is exactly what Joe Biden wanted in his little $101 billion, would decouple aid for Israel from the 80-year-old president's broader emergency funding requested that includes billions to Ukraine. He doesn't want a standalone bill because then he's not getting another $61 billion to pass on to his friend who's pilfering it in Ukraine. So how about that? Is that surprising to anybody? Probably not. Illegal insurrection. Senate Republicans demand Schumer not accept Biden's request for $9 billion for Gaza. The president's asking for $9 billion for Gaza, and 10 Senate Republicans asked Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to reject President Joe Biden's request for $9 billion for Gaza humanitarian aid. Gee, where do you think the humanitarian aid for Gaza goes? Because do you think it goes to the people like who, just the rank and file civilians, or do you think it's stolen by Hamas? We're going to give them $9 billion. It's part of the Biden's plan for $106 billion for the border, Israel, and Hamas. No, it's for Ukraine. It's for Ukraine. $106 billion for Ukraine and Israel, Hamas, and the border. But it's for Ukraine. And it's common knowledge that any aid for Gaza goes to Hamas, which has controlled Gaza since 2007. So the senator is saying, fuck that. And I agree. Code Pink, Israel protesters interrupted Blinken's Senate aid hearing. So there was Anthony Blinken had a hearing over in the Senate, and of course Code Pink showed up, morons. On front page, on a speech on Israel, the UN Secretary General offers just 2 sentences about Hamas killing civilians, justifying the unjustifiable. The text of UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres' meretricious speech, whatever the hell that means, on Israel has apparently been removed from the internet. But here it is. I began my commentary on it here. And okay, whatever. I have condemned unequivocally the horrifying and unprecedented 7 October acts of terror by Hamas in Israel. Nothing can justify the deliberate killing, injuring, and kidnapping of civilians, or the launching of rockets against civilian targets. All hostages must be treated humanely and released immediately and without condition. I respectfully note the presence among us of members of their family. And that was the entire speech. That was it. That's everything he said. But here's some other things he said. In that speech, he offers 2 sentences about the killing of the Jewish people. But he said it is important to also recognize the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum. So he's justifying it. And then he also said the Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffering occupation. Well, that's some false shit too. Meretricious appears attractive, but in reality has no value of integrity. Thank you, Avocados Diabli. The UN is useless and should go away. That's all I got to say. Some people are describing this as Israel's Pearl Harbor. The Israeli UN ambassador and his staff are wearing yellow stars to shame the world's diplomatic community for its willingness to appease mass murderers. Yeah, that's something they were doing. They're wearing yellow stars in the UN because these fuckers are not acknowledging what happened. That barely acknowledging what happened that caused this particular incursion into Gaza. For Israel, it's like their Pearl Harbor. It's quite apparent that the mass murders by Hamas of more than 1,000 Israeli civilians, including women and children and babies, was not perceived as just another terrorist attack requiring a measured and surgical response. No, in this case, the entire nation of Israel, from the secular left to the religious right, has finally recognized that Hamas has long declared war on the Jewish people, and the massacre on October 7th was its ways of underlining that state of war. So Israel is now responding in kind, just as the United States did after Pearl Harbor. After the attack on December 7, 1941, Americans were resolved that they were in a war of survival that could not end until the Axis power of Germany and Japan were utterly obliterated. There would be no ceasefire or negotiations, as had happened at the end of World War I. So for the Israelis, October 7th is their day of infamy. It is for this reason that the Israeli ambassadors put on a yellow star yesterday, similar to the Star of David the Nazis forced Jews to wear, but with the words "never again" emblazoned thereon. Then he bluntly told the appeasers at the United Nations, quote, "Israel has made its choice. We were attacked by the Hamas Nazis. We were shown that genocide and Jew hatred did not die with Hitler. It bubbled and grew until it invaded our homeland. But the difference between 1939 and today is that today, Jews have a strong state and a powerful military. We are not defenseless. We are lions of Judah, and we will defend ourselves against those that seek to annihilate us." And apparently DHS hasn't fired the Hamas supporting asylum agent, and apparently it's despicable to ask about. Here's the questioning.
Mr. Secretary, what's going on here? Is this typical of people who work at DHS? This is an asylum and immigration officer who is posting these frankly pro-genocidal slogans and images on the day that Israelis are being slaughtered in their beds. What have you done about this?
4 things I'd like to say to you. Number one, your question to suggest that that is emblematic of the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security is despicable.
He didn't say that. Just this one person. Well, maybe he kind of said it, but anyway.
I'm sorry. What have you? This person works for the Department of Homeland Security. Have you fired her?
That was one of 4 answers.
Have you fired her?
One.
Have you fired her? Don't come to this hearing room when Israel has been invaded and Jewish students are barricaded in libraries in this country and cannot be escorted out because they are threatened for their lives. You have employees who are celebrating genocide, and you are saying it's despicable for me to ask the question? Has she been fired?
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary. After the consumption of Senator Hawley's time, I'd like to speak.
Has she been fired?
Yeah, he doesn't want to answer that. I don't think he ever did answer it either. And the question is despicable because he doesn't like the question. That's why it's despicable. You can read the rest of the article later. In Breitbart, and he will not commit, and he will not commit to deporting pro-Hamas foreign students from the United States. I don't know if that's his place. Hawley asked more questions about that, but you can check that out. And in fact, also same thing with Karine Jean-Pierre.
Does Biden think the anti-Israel protesters in this country are extremists?
What I can say
we saw this one yesterday. This is the one we saw yesterday. She refuses to call them extremists, and it's insane. Hello, Bishop. How you doing? So anyway, there's a couple more articles, but I have to be done for today. Look, Bishop, hey, PDK involving the Star of David seems a bit far. My Israeli coworker rolled his eyes so hard you could practically hear it. He said it cheapens the horrors of the Holocaust. Well, maybe or maybe not. Look, if you're familiar with the Hamas Charter and how the UN right now is basically saying, well, they kind of deserved it. And remember, we're talking about Hamas, whose charter is to kill all Jews, not just in Israel, everywhere. So it's maybe it does it cheapen it? I don't know. They're in France. I don't know if I have this article too. Let's see if I can find it. In France, they're putting Jewish stars on Jewish businesses. Or they're putting Stars of David on Jewish businesses right now. Like, it's almost like they're targeting them. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Oh, wait, there's the Bishop and Bishop. You're both here. Okay, nice to see you guys. So anyway, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, but I gotta be done, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. All the articles that I didn't get to will be in the links, just like the ones I did. So, but everything here, the tweets, the videos and whatnot, they'll all be in the links. I'll drop them in the chat during the outro in just a couple seconds, and they'll be in the description if you want to come back and look for those for your own reading and viewing pleasure. So thank you for joining me today. Don't have any sponsors today, but that's cool. They don't have to have sponsors every day. Appreciate the ones who've done it in the past, and especially appreciate all of you who joined me in the chat almost on the daily. Thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I got to go. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.